Alright, what's happening, man? This is Smokahontas Jones.
And this Memphis Blac.
And we're coming to you live all the way at Critical Recording Studios. Shout out to AntiSteez.com. Big up Goops for having us come out today.
Yeah, what's up, Goops?
Yeah, we really appreciate it, man.
Memphis Blac, 2010. And the rebels making noise. Smokahontas Jones.
How are you guys?
We're doing just fine.
Fantastic.
For people that don't know, you guys hail from Texas, right?
Yeah.
Where in Texas do you guys come from?
Actually, Dallas, Texas. So it's like North Texas, maybe 3 hours from Houston, 3 hours, well, what is it, like 4 hours from Houston, 3 hours from Austin.
Let's talk about what you guys are doing in hip-hop in Texas.
In hip-hop in Texas, what we're doing, we're just doing a lot of movement. And what I do, I have an ice cream parlor there, and it's called Precious Treats. It's like in the midtown, say almost the mid-downtown Dallas. And what I do is I interact with a lot of children in my community, especially the ones that are the underprivileged kids. I put more of, me into those children because of the things that I see, and I'm more like want to be on the reach side to pull some of those kids back to save them. So that's more that's what I do in Dallas.
You are working with underprivileged kids. You are working in maybe an impoverished area of Dallas,
Right.
and you're trying just to bring up the community. And you're saying that you're doing that because you've seen the rough side of the streets, right?
I've seen the rough side of it all.
And you're bringing that kind of to the surface with your new video. The first video that you guys dropped got that work, which became, because of World Star Hip Hop, became a viral sensation.
Right, yes.
And a lot of people are watching it, but at the same time, a lot of people are criticizing, saying that you guys are glorifying prostitution and, the seedier underbelly of what's going on in the streets. Let's talk about that.
I think a lot of people get the message wait a minute.
Misconstrued.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. And I think it's even bigger than that. They misunderstand everything of what it is that we're bringing. First of all, the track is not necessarily glorifying anything, because if that were the case during the song or anything, we'd have been like, I got that work, now you use your work and go do this because this is what your work do. No, basically what we're talking about is what an individual struggle is for a lady who's in the streets. Because you have to understand that there's not just young men out here in the streets. You have to understand, for every young man that's on the corner in my neighborhood or your neighborhood or somebody's neighborhood with a dope set, there's a young lady on the corner getting ready to do some things that she may not want to do or she may be ashamed of, but that she has to do. Why? Because she has a family to feed. You know what I'm saying? She has responsibilities to take care of, and she doesn't have anybody there to help her. And this is what she knows as her best way or best means of making income. Then on the side of that, you also have to understand that prostitution surpasses the streets. So what it is that people have a misunderstanding of the entire lifestyle altogether. They're unaware of the fact that your professor in your college classroom may also have a website where she's an escort. Now, she may not necessarily go by an escort, because you can call it high-class prostitution, where she's a lady of leisure. Someone's going to pay her $1,500 or $2,000 just to spend the night or a few days with them. They may never have sexual intercourse, but she's going to fulfill a fantasy or a desire for a gentleman of a female companion. And that's acceptable, but by the same token, if you compare and contrast, what's so different between that lady that sits at a desk that does that on the weekends from the girl that's standing on the corner across from the boy with the dope sack?
That's just geography.
From the girl in the strip club.
That's all it is.
You feel what I'm saying? I think people make a great separation of the two when really there is none. They try to make one evil greater than the other, and there is none. It's all the same shit if you look at it. Excuse my French, but it's all the same stuff, everywhere you go, it's going to be the same type of thing. And in comparison, I look at it like this: even if you're not selling yourself in a sexual sense than as a sex worker. Then look at it like this: you work a job. Like I told you the other night, you work a job. You work 80 hours a job. That's 40 hours plus 20 hours overtime. You work 80 hours a week. When you get paid, you don't get paid per day or once you complete your job. There's no payment. You're paid on a set date, which you agree upon. But in order to do that, you got to do your work to get paid, right? Okay. Well, when you get paid, who's the first person that gets a part of your check?
Uncle
Before
Sam.
you even see it.
Uncle Sam.
Okay, and then the company you work for, what do they have to do? Say, for instance, if you're late or if you miss a day.
They have to dock you.
Okay, so it's so many people that touch your money before it comes to your hand. But before anybody touches it or anybody gets anything to take away, Uncle Sam gets his cut. Off the top, Uncle Sam's the biggest pimp in America. Y'all go to work every year, and then you go to work every day of every year. Try not to miss nothing to get overtime so you can get this money or get a bonus or whatever it is in hope of, at the beginning of next year, they're going to give you something back. Well, if I put that into a situation of a street life, okay, a hooker may have a pimp. A hooker may go to work every day. She may work a few more hours than my line. she may work a few more hours.
Like the clock don't never stop.
She may work a few more hours. She gets her money first, but in the same situation, she has a boss. She works for a pimp, so he gets the money, and then he gives her what she feels like she makes. She deserves.
When you guys got that work, your intention was to maybe bring light to what's happening out in the streets and let people know that this hustle exists. Because, okay, I mean, we're here in Miami, you know what I mean? We have the good parts of the city, we have our grimy parts of the city.
Right.
I don't think that anybody that lives here has any doubt in their mind that at one point or another, there's some prostitution going on the streets in
Right.
Midtown and, you know, in deep Midtown and in Little Haiti and downtown. It happens.
Somewhere.
But then you have these people who get kind of offended by it because it's so like what you're doing is very in people's faces.
Right.
Who get offended by it because maybe they don't see it every day. They don't see it at all. They've got the money blinders on, the rich and affluent blinders on where they don't see that. Maybe what I get is that you guys are kind of promoting this message like this is happening and it may not be okay, but it's happening. It's part of what's happening out there, right?
Well, you're so right. You're so right. But one thing I have to say, I put this message into the music because this is what I call the young generation. Mm-hmm. So the young generation is really being exposed to all of these things. And what is so happening, it is real critical because now the industry is a sex trafficking, and what they're doing now, they're involving babies. So, you know, when they're bringing little children in it, I'm like, you know, it really touches me because I was a child bought into this stuff. I can say, you know, I've been a sex slave. I've been a trafficking person, you know, and I just thank God to be here. But what I'm just really trying to place there is there's some awareness to all of these things out here, to what these parents, they, you know, so-called put their blindfolds on to where there seems like this shit is not, it's not happening, it's not going on, but it could be next door to you. It could be in your house. It could be one of your family members. It could be a friend, somebody, you know, and really what we're just trying to say, we're not glorifying none of this because this is not nothing that, I mean, really I would want to take home to my children or my nieces and nephews, you know, but I know it's out here, so I have to explain to them, hey, this right here, it's a rough road.